What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be back here in Forza Motorsport 7 today to take out a car I unlocked yesterday after doing some open drift hoppers for my rewards. It's the 1998 Ferrari F33 SP. And this car was Ferrari's reintroduction into endurance car racing, and actually is the only Ferrari to win the Daytona 24-hour race and the Sebring 24-hour race. So it's a very historic and legendary car for a Ferrari, and it was actually so good they kept producing it up to 2003 for racing, and it was very competitive all the way up till then. I believe they had 11 manufacturer wins that during the period this car raced for. I could be wrong, you could fact check me. I'll leave a link down below that covers the information and background history on this car pretty well if you guys do want to know more about it. But let's go ahead and just jump into this race here and get this thing started. As for specs on this car, its 0 to 60 was around 3 seconds, topped out at about 225 miles an hour, came with the 5-speed manual sequential, and ran the 4-liter V12 engine that was like a modified version of the Formula 1 engine. Oh, why are we going so slow through there? The AI do some really strange things here in the first corners at Nordschleife. But yeah, that basically covers most of the important specs on this car. The V12 that was in it was, I believe, don't know if I said it or not, it was a 5-valve engine, which was a little different than what they were running in Formula 1, but it was based off that. It was putting out a little more power than the Formula 1 engine did. Just an absolutely insanely, brutally fast car. I did forget to mention, by the way, guys, I do have damage turned off for this race because this car is just so insanely fast that concentrating on trying to commentate throughout the race and keep up with where I'm at on the track and know which corner's coming up doesn't always happen. So there's a good chance I'm going to be going into a couple walls here and there, making some mistakes. I'm going to do my best to commentate through most of this, but if I kind of get quiet for a little while, it's just because I'm really trying to focus on driving this thing and get it around the track in one piece. Another reason you gotta really focus driving this thing is because the gearing in it is so short in second gear and first gear is so long. You gotta really pay attention where you're at in the RPM range and when you need to shift. And you also gotta make sure you don't shift this car too quickly because I didn't upgrade anything on it. And the stock gearbox does need just a little time to get into gear so you don't start slipping the clutch and just bouncing up the limit or losing speed. You can even hear it when you shift slower, it just sounds so much better. It doesn't sound like you're kind of getting on the gas while the clutch is still engaged. This car sounds just absolutely amazing on downshifts though, between the bark of that V12 and all the pops and crackles this thing makes as it's idling down. Such a great feeling car on the track too, it just basically glued to the road it feels like. And you can really push it harder in a lot of areas than you think, although it is also extremely easy to over push it in areas where you think you have more downforce or more grip than you really do. First gear is absolutely brutal in this thing, a little over 100 miles an hour, and then second gear just barely gets you over 120, which is what I was talking about. This car is very tricky to drive in terms of gear changes and get them right, but when you do, the car just is amazing around corners and just pulls so well. And you can get a little aggressive with curves here at Nordschleife in this car, but you gotta be careful of which ones you do it on because it will get out on you very quickly in the rear end, and because it spins up to 12,000 RPMs, got a little over 650 horsepower. Even with those huge racing slicks out back, they will spin up real quick and you'll find yourself facing the other direction or going into a wall. This car is just insanely fast for this area. Really pushing it through there. I thought for sure I was going off track into that wall, to be honest. That's what I mean about this thing though, you just gotta have faith in the car, hold on to it, and let it do its thing. Another interesting thing about this car's history is it was commissioned by a privateer racing team, and that's actually how they got their start back into endurance racing. It was because of a privateer wanting a Ferrari to race an endurance racing prototype class with. And after that, it just became such a successful chassis. Oh, I got distracted about my story I was trying to tell. And that's why I have damage off today. But it was just such a well-performing chassis that they just kept racing it for almost a decade and just kept getting win after win in it. I gotta say too, for this style of race car, Ferrari definitely made one of the best looking cars in its class, especially for the period. Oh, too much speed, too much speed. That's one thing about this thing. In these lower speed corners, you gotta really know how much speed to carry through, because this thing will understeer so much, because it does rely a lot on downforce to get the car around a corner. And at those lowest speeds, you just don't have it. And there's a nice little example of what I was talking about the rear end spinning up really quick when you do make too much of a mistake or dip the tires off a little too much into the grass. It's okay though, we didn't lose much time on him here. Although if this was a real race and I had damage on, I probably would have took on quite a decent amount, especially to my aero, with how I hit that wall. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I was on the wrong line coming into that corner though, and I didn't really have a whole lot of other options there. Coming out onto the straight now. Should be able to easily make up some ground and get back up to where I was at position-wise. This thing really just walks away from most of the cars in this class on top speed. Oh, stop coming left. Oh, what is he doing? Crazy Mazda. It's one of the few straights that's really and truly wide enough to run 3 wide and get an overtake in, and he starts coming over into my lane trying to just bowl me out of his way. I can hear somebody right behind me on my right side. Oh, a little wide, little wide. This car just is so grippy and turns so well, and when it does understeer, it throws you off so much, it's really hard to do anything about it when it happens. Almost went a little too far over that curve back there. That could have been really bad, especially with how much throttle I was starting to give it. It's insane that this car can go over that crest at those speeds and barely lift at all. And a lot of cars that can take that section as fast as I was going through there, you gotta dab the brakes and get off throttle just a little bit before, or else you're gonna lift and not gonna have enough time to slow down before that little double apex section back there. It's absolutely insane this thing can hit over 190 miles an hour through here. That is probably the most forgiving curb in this car. One of the few you can really go over the edge of it and just be completely fine and not upset the car too much. I actually tried to raise the suspension just one click front and back to race here, just to make sure I had a little bit of extra ground clearance for the curbs, but it made the car understeer so bad, I think it really messed with the aerodynamics of it. ho ho! I thought I was going into that wall. And this car, I keep forgetting that corner's coming up. It's so fast, I don't even realize I'm at that section and that super tight corner is right there. And I keep braking just a little later than I would like to, and really gets your nerves going. Oh ho ho ho! That's not a good curve to get on when you're on throttle in this car. This thing is ridiculous through here. Just flat out, and trust the car is gonna grip up, and it will definitely do it for you. That was a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. I saw me going straight for that huge curve, and I thought for sure it was just gonna throw me through the air. Oh, I was trying to watch my RPM down there instead of watching where I was going. Just about really messed up. You really don't have any time to look away in this car. You would think I've learned my lesson by now with how many practice laps I did in this thing, trying to get a handle on it. But I really haven't. I just keep looking down at the map or to check my time or to see what speed I'm at or what RPM I'm running, and by the time I look up I'm going straight at a wall or I'm already off the track. I didn't think that was going to end very well with how far I got up on that curve, but apparently it's perfectly fine right there. This thing definitely does like a little bit of throttle to help get it rotated around corners. Not very much, but just enough to help get rid of that little bit of understeer in the front. I still can't get over how gnarly it is at those speeds, just blasting up the hill straight at that wall. I would be absolutely terrified in real life to go those kind of speeds right at that wall, because you know if you hit that wall, you're not going to get stopped at those speeds. You're going straight over and into the forest. Really, that's honestly the truth for most of the track in this car. You're always going so quick in this thing, you're not going to get stopped by the guardrails. You're going over them. Oh, a little much. Oh, just barely kept it on the track there. Coming up to the straight again. I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to gain one more position, but I am making some room on this guy here in front of me. I am absolutely pouring sweat at this point. My room's actually pretty warm today. We had a nice day finally here in fall. And I never bothered turning any fans or anything on before I came up, so it has literally just been gathering heat up all day. And then I've been up here for a good hour or so between just doing practice laps on this thing and trying to get used to it and getting all set up to record. So it's definitely added to the heat in the room a little bit. I did manage to almost catch all the way up to that guy in front of me before the end, just couldn't quite do it. Not a bad time. I did run a little bit faster than that earlier today, but not by much. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a chance to check this car out, definitely do it. It's not a super expensive car if you gotta buy it outright. I believe it's like 700,000 credits or something like that. And since I got mine through a reward, I don't remember which level it was for. It was like 400,000 or something. It's really not bad at all, especially for how fun this car is to drive and race and the way it feels in the game, especially on the wheel. It's got really good road feel. You really know what the car is doing. You can tell when you're going to start understeering in this thing. It's just a really great feeling car. They really did a good job on this one. So definitely try to give it a shot if you guys can. If you're brave enough, go ahead and head to Nordschleife here and see what kind of lap times you can put down, or if you can get a nice clean lap through here. I'm still trying to really learn the track again and memorize it, especially since I've been bouncing back and forth playing it in different games. But I'm starting to get it down again. It's just, my brain is having so much trouble trying to keep up with where I'm at in the track, what turns coming up, at those kind of speeds while I'm trying to sit here and do commentary at the same time and talk to you guys. Really makes you feel like your brain is just going to melt by the time you've done a couple laps at these speeds. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button down below, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.